Brothers and sisters, friends and family, welcome, welcome, welcome. Shalom to all of you guys out there. Huge hugs, much love, and thank you very much for spending your very precious time that could be spent a tremendous amount of other places, but at least give this a few seconds and let's see if there's anything that can make a resounding clang in our understanding as we read through the scriptures of our Creator. And the scriptures of our Creator are something that we as a people in any type of what you would call a man-made religion, we've been lied to. And the entire religious system has lied to all of us. We have people that will knock on doors and proclaim a way to salvation. And when you look and you read through scripture starting on page 1, it doesn't hold weight. There's a lot of this grace doctrine and a forgiveness doctrine and a love doctrine. And it's all about simple acceptance of a man named Jesus, and you're secured salvation and you're secured a place in the kingdom. You await a bus ride on this magical rapture that will take us all out of tribulation and take us out of trials. But when we read through the greatest things that have ever been preserved for mankind through this time, which is the word of our Creator, everything that we have learned is opposite of what is in scriptures. We have learned in religion that all these laws of our Creator have been nailed to a tree. They've been abolished because the doctrine is that the Son of the Most High, who they call Jesus, came and abolished all these laws and made foods that make humans sick they're eatable, right? That's what religion has told us. But what if I was to tell you that when you read scriptures, there's never been a fulfillment of the law that says the law is gone, that it's an abolished state? When our Messiah said that it is finished, he's absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not talking about the laws of our Creator. What he's talking about is he's talking about the curses of the Torah. When we break the Torah, when any one of us put our hand in the cookie jar when we're 3 years old, we have fallen under the curses of the Torah, which is spiritual death. And so this world, we have physical death, which most of us will probably all encounter, and we don't know when our last breath will be. But we have been given a chance. We've been given 120 years to figure out a path forward. And the irony of when people say the law, that it's not actually called the law. That was the translators that just decided to call something the law. But the first 5 books of scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, is called the way forward. It's called the Torah. And inside of these books, we learn that there is a covenant path for a people who could become the children of the Most High. But the children of the Most High aren't the people that only have 3/4 of the book, and it's not the people that have only 1/4 of the book. You see, the entire book tells us the process that our Creator has gone through to first and foremost walk with us in a physical form when he came down and he gave Moses, the ways forward. When he wrote down about 150, 160 different laws that we as Yah's people can definitely keep today. And yes, there were a tremendous amount back in the days of sacrifice, back in the days of Levites. But we have our master Levite in front of us. We have Messiah Yahushua. We have the King of all. We have salvation. We have the word of our Creator that has been made flesh, that is our leader going into the next world. If you want to find the path to the next world, the scriptures are very clear that it is those of us who observe, who love, who write the laws, statutes, and commandments onto our hearts, onto our minds, onto our souls. We talk about it when we get up. We talk about it when we go to bed. It becomes as frontlets between our eyes. We're not going to walk into any situation in this world without understanding how our Creator wishes us to proceed. When you have the best guidelines for life, and guys, the farthest thing that the Torah is a set of bondage. It is an absolute set of freedom that when you are under the Torah, when you are in covenant with our Creator, your life is a lot different. Many, many, many blessings that you don't know are there available for you are there when you come into the covenant path. Now, the covenant path of Torah, of keeping the ways of our Creator, is an amazing road. It's exciting. It is things that we haven't been taught in religion. We just thought we could raise our hand at 8 years old, say a prayer, everybody's saved. There's no way that salvation can ever be snatched out of our hands. When Messiah very clearly says in Matthew 7, and well as in the book of the Nazarene, that don't count on him to advocate for your survival if you aren't doing the laws of his Father. This is a two-way road. This is why the people of our Creator look different. It's why we take to completely have different looks. Everything about us, right? We don't celebrate the Gentile holidays. We're not there celebrating things like Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas, and we're not doing what the Gentiles do because we don't want to be a Gentile. Now, that might surprise a lot of people that I just said that, because in man-made religion, we've been programmed to think that being a Gentile is a good thing. But guys, Hebrews 8 talks about a covenant. It's a covenanted people. It's about the end times. And the Christians know part of this chapter, but the entire chapter, it starts off and it talks about two different sets of people that this covenant applies to. First of all, it says the house of Yehuda, the house of Judah, and the house of Yisrael, the house of Israel. There's no house of Gentile, right? And so if you think that Hebrews 8 has anything to do with you, you are not in either of those houses unless you are an obedient child of the Most High. How do we become an obedient child of the Most High? Well, we learn the ways of our Creator. We read the Scriptures. We do what Scriptures tells us to do, which is to read it, to understand it, to love it, absorb it, and bring it into our entire existence. And so this takes us into our amazing reading that we are reading from the last book of Yah Scriptures right here. Guys, this is a 3,153 page book of truth. 3 magnificent bookmarks. And here is something amazing, guys. This is a study scriptures. The fonts are large size. I did this for the vision impaired people so that we would always be able to see things, even with under the guise of a magnifying glass if we haven't gone too far, right? This is big print. So this is a book that weighs a little over 6 pounds. And this is a study guide. This is something that is meant for hours and hours and days of reading, and something that will bring life into your lives. It's 103 books. It's the entire Apocrypha, as well as the 66 original books. So the big thing is that the name of our Creator, who is not God, God is a surtitle. There's many lowercase g gods. There's all these ones that people worship, and they love them all. But this is our Elohim. This is our God, uppercase G, and his name is Yahuwah. Yod-Hed, Wav-Hed, and I've heard it with the V sound, Yod-Hed, Wav-Hed, where people get Yehovah. Guys, it's a lot closer than them completely taking the name of our Creator out and just putting in God. So this scripture has that all restored, as well as the name of Yahushua. Guys, there were no J's in Hebrew. The name Jesus, they've tricked us all into this, and it's the son of Zeus, right? Our Messiah is not the son of Zeus. Our Messiah's name is Yahushua. There were no J's in Hebrew. There's no sound J in Hebrew. The letter J was not even invented until the 1500s. And so right here, this is what you get in Yah Scriptures. You get all of the proper translations, all of this out there. And this is why we call it the greatest English translation that has ever been out there. And it's free. It's completely free of charge. You can simply go to yahscriptures.com, and all of these versions are absolutely free of charge. You don't have to get the book. If you get the book, by you getting the book, we're able to ship a full scriptures into our brothers and sisters in chains. That's how we work. We are a prison ministry. We love our brothers and sisters in chains. The U.S. prison population needs a tremendous amount of love. And this is how everybody has some value and everybody can help out with this entire project. So thank you, everybody, who has gotten these scriptures, everybody who has supported Yah Scriptures and supported us, Boss Clan, in doing this. Now, this is the book of Khalidi. It's the very last book in this. And what you're looking at through this is you're looking at the Google app. This is the Google app of Yah Scriptures. It has all 103 books in there. You can copy, paste. It doesn't take any kind of internet connection. Any Google tablet, phone, TV, whatever it is, you can download this APK. It's also at yahscriptures.com, completely free of charge. Everything is completely free of charge because the word should be heard. It should not be sold. And so we have given out tens of thousands of Yah Scriptures of people out there who are reading them. And the PDFs are available as well, completely free of charge, guys. So you guys can read all through this. You guys can read on your own. It's just an amazing the way that our Creator has allowed this to happen. Now, guys, this is the book that is just so full of meat and potatoes, and it is something that is the words of the Torah, the way of our Creator. And to start off this, before creation, before the sun ever existed, before night and day ever existed as we know it, in another realm, there is the Father, Yahuwah, and he went through a cycle of life with his son. We don't know how he was birthed up in the realms. We don't know where he came into existence. But what we do know is that before we were ever created, his son was created and had a world up there, and he understood, and he's lived with his dad. He understands his dad's ways, his dad's thinking. And so by us being allowed the Son of the Most High, who literally got to walk and talk and be with his dad, we have the most beautiful, the leader, a qualified leader that we could ever possibly have is in our Messiah. And when we have a religion that's supposed to be followers of Christ, but yet when our Messiah tells us he keeps the law, he kept all the appointed times, he says we should do, he says his brothers and his sisters and his family and his mothers are those who keep the laws of his dad. That's the qualifications. If you want to be a follower of the Most High's Son, Yahushua, we need to be followers in our deeds. That's why the first 5 books of scriptures are gold. They are silver. They are lights to our life, lights to our soul and the way forward. And when we get in covenant and we read the first 5 books for the first time, and then we start again and we read again and we go through it until we understand all of this and why that our Creator wants us to do certain things. And it just takes some reading, right? That's all it is. But this is the words of our Creator made flesh. And I wanted to take us back because for those who are reading with us on this little journey, I ended last time on verse 59 of chapter 9. And I want to go over this again. And I want to talk about it, but I'm not going to sit as long as we did the first time. This is what our Messiah says. And he's talking to all of the people and he's talking to all of us. And he goes, some hail me as their leader, thinking this will help them in the life to come. But it will not. Only those who wholeheartedly serve the cause and purpose of Yahuwah will enjoy this in full glory. Many who do things in my name will expect me to intercede for them. But to these I will say, I did not know you or authorize the statements you made. By your deeds shall you be judged. And last week we went to Matthew 7, and Matthew 7 says the same thing. Depart from me, ye who are lawless, you who are Torah-less. Words directly from our Messiah that we somehow in religion skim over, and it doesn't make any sense because we somehow have come to the understanding that these laws are gone. But Messiah very clearly says, you're not going to have him come in as an attorney. You're not going to hear an objection when judgment is being handed down and you're begging a man named Jesus to save you, he's going to say, I didn't know you. Who are you? You said things and you used my name, but I didn't authorize any of this. He goes on and he says, this does not apply to those who, hearing my words, put them into practice. For they are like the sensible man who built his house on a foundation of rock. The rain poured down and the floods rose. The wind howled above and beat the house, but it did not collapse because it was firmly set. This is the amazing stuff about this book, is that we hear almost the same stuff that we hear in the Besorah, in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We hear a tremendous amount. We know about the house on the sand and the house on the rock. We know that we need to build our house on that. And a lot of us don't understand what the foundation of rock is because we've been led astray. We've been lied to. And somehow we've paid money to inherit these lies because a lot of us have been paying 10% for years to a man that is not qualified. A man that is teaching on a Sunday is not qualified to ever be leading any kind of congregation at all. He's a heretic. He's a lawbreaker. He's not doing the will of our Creator. And so they're not to be trusted. Now, what is the foundation of rock? The foundation of rock is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. There is no other foundation of rock that we get in scriptures anywhere that is the foundation, right? For those who are students of things like biblical hermeneutics, understand the principle that what happens at the beginning of scripture sets the stage and the precedent for everything after that. If you went out and you said that the children of Yisrael were like flowers in a garden, you couldn't go back and say they are rocks. They are simply stones, right? That's not what they are. You would have to go that they are flowers in a garden. That's what biblical hermeneutics say. And our laws that we get, starting on page 1, which is be fruitful and multiply, are good laws. They are good for all generations. They are good for all times. There's never been an expiration date. It's not like a box of milk. It's not like something that expires. It is something that is supposed to have been for all generations. Now, when we mix in man-made traditions, then you have a set of traditions of men that you follow in a religion. And if you're following traditions of men and it's contrary to the word of our Creator, that's a problem because all of us have the scriptures in front of us. So the foundation of rock, for those of us who need to understand this, is the Torah. If you want to rebuild your current house with a foundation of rock right now, then as a family, as a people, guys, start pounding out chapters. Start reading several. You can fall in love with these scriptures. That scripture reading isn't boring. In fact, from the days when I was a kid, I realized it. Even in church, I sat there. It put you to sleep because we didn't understand how exciting this was. We always thought the Old Testament was a bunch of fables and things for kids under 10, and then just stories of old. It doesn't really matter. But when we have lifted the veil off our eyes and we have come to understand that, wow, these laws are absolutely good laws, right? And we'll go over some of these laws before we're done because I want to prove the point where people are like, oh, nobody can keep the law. Oh, that's for the children of God. Guys, you're never going to be able to keep the Torah perfectly. But why would you not want to try? You know what I mean? If you're just saying, all right, forget it. I can't stop lusting. I'm not going to even start keeping anything, right? Torah keeping is a process of when you care more about what the Creator of the universe cares about than what you care about, right? Everything in Torah must trump everything in life. If we don't do that, then we fall under problems because we'll end up with curses. Take, for example, people end up in the hospital all the time because they eat unclean food. You can take a bucket of water that is completely contaminated that a human being could not drink. You can dump 5 shrimp in there, give it 2 weeks' time, and that water is completely clean and drinkable. You know, you want to filter the poop and whatnot out. However, it's now edible. So what has the process? Why has that water turned clean? What has been made in creation that has been made to technically clean this stuff up that you wouldn't want to ever eat, because it ends up being a whole bunch of pus pockets and hormones and a bunch of things that you would not want to ingest. You're not going to want to ingest the janitors, right? It's like, if you're okay, I don't even have a good example. The example is that you're eating food that has been created. It's not food. Number one, you're eating an animal that has been created as a janitorial system. That's why these pigs can eat an entire corpse inside of 2 months. I've watched it. I've seen documentaries on it where these serial killers will end up feeding people to the pigs, and they all say it's about 2 months and the entire thing is dead. They're gone, like literally everything but the skull. Now, if a pig dies, the mothers will eat the baby pigs. These things are disgusting animals, and they don't have the same bathroom things that we do. They don't sweat the same that we do. They're okay being a host to a tremendous amount of parasites that consider them a home, and the pig doesn't care. It doesn't hurt them at all. But then you chop them up and you don't fry that right, and you have these bacteria and things that humans should never ever ingest. That's why it's unclean food. You wouldn't want to put pig across the tongue. You're going to get sick. But everybody's like, oh no, I love my pork rinds. I love everything about pig. Foundation of rock, folks, is what we need to have. Okay, to 61. Messiah continues on and says, but there will be many who, hearing these words of mine, will ignore them, and will be likened, and these may be likened to a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain poured down, the floods rose, the wind howled and beat against the walls, and the whole house collapsed. Right? We've heard this before. And the Messiah starts on this, but there's going to be many who, hearing these words of mine. Now, what words are we talking about? Well, it is very clear in the book of John and 1 John that the only words that Messiah had were his dad's. He was doing the will of his Father. Messiah did not come to give us anything new. He came to set an understanding of expand upon things that we understood, right? He expanded on marriage. He talks a little bit about it, that when we're sitting here as men lusting after a naked woman, that we are becoming adulterers, right? That's the understanding and the expansion that Messiah told us. We didn't know that before. We didn't understand these things, the same things, right? Messiah says, keep the Torah. If you want to be his brother, if you want to be a sister, if you want to be family, kin, right? If you want to be kins with Messiah, it's a one big happy Torah-based family. Messiah is not going to be leading a bunch of rebels. The first time he came with love, he came with grace, he came with everything we needed and lived a very hard life, a very persecuted life, all the way to the very end, which was a very, very horrible, horrible ending. But he is very much qualified to give us the understanding. And if he says we should be his family based upon keeping Torah, I'm not going to argue any of that. 62. Messiah continues on and he says, I herald the coming of the rule of Elohim and a reborn world. Wait a sec. What are we talking about? Where's the rapture, right? Where's this man-made injected rapture where there's a 7-year tribulation? Guys, all of these Christian prophecies and things like this, it's already, most of it's already come to pass, right? Stuff in Matthew that people think are that, the 7-year tribulation is come and gone. People are always talking about Daniel 70 days stuff. It's come and gone, guys. The future is a world here in this world. What Scripture says that the end of time looks like is that Mount Zion will be supernaturally a kingdom, a city, a ginormous thing is going to drop out of the sky. That's what it says. And that's the new Jerusalem, right? That's a city of Elohim. And Messiah is going to rule from there. He has a 1,000-year reign where the rest of the world, for even 1,000 years, as bad as it is now, they're just going to get even worse and worse and worse till everybody's trying to kill him. Everybody's going to try to kill this. Messiah's going to come and slice him up. We're We're dealing with extreme power and an extreme way. And this is all going to play out. It's playing out right now. You can see the world where it's going. You can see Scriptures has never failed us. There's never been these things in Scriptures that are disproven. That it's just, it is what it is. So the coming of the rule of Elohim in a reborn world is a reborn world where he's leading it. He is our leader. He is our Messiah, our salvation. He's the guy that's going to get us all on the right schedule, right? Everybody who has all these different Torah calendars, he's going to group us all together, and he's going to say, all right, good job, guys. This is where we missed it. This is where you missed it. This is where we missed it. And a lot of us may just have a ton of holes in our game, right? That's where we need a Messiah. We're trying, and that's the point. So he continues on, I accept those who follow my way, and I will lead them into their reign. I reject all those who are against my way. And again, we have my way. His way is his Father's way. It's nothing new. It's the exact same thing. Now, I'm always getting too long-winded. Let's continue on. I call upon men of good will to follow us, men who wholeheartedly desire the light and oppose the way of darkness. Okay, again, it's qualifying those who are kingdom-bound people, right? As men that are out there, the strongest man you could ever be is a Torah-based, family-centric man that is completely about building of the family and about opposing the ways of darkness. The ways of darkness are all around us, right? It's the constant nudity. It's a constant lust. It's the depravity of society that is sunken deep all around us. It's the darkness, right? The light is the first 5 books of Scriptures. There's no other foundational light point anywhere that we can ever have in Scriptures except Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. When we have this and embrace this, then that's how we oppose the way of darkness. We can't oppose the way of darkness unless you know the Torah. You don't know what to oppose, right? The Torah says don't drink blood. You wouldn't know, other than it's kind of creepy, right, out of the gate, but you wouldn't know that life is in the blood and that when we drink the blood, it's a huge, big deal. It is not a good thing. Continuing on. But the road may be long and be set by many foes. So Messiah never says, it's going to be easy. Ever. Never, 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 never. He always says it's going to hurt. It's going to be probably have to be dealt with our life at some point. You just never know. But the road, actually, let's continue on. Yet have no fear of those who come with swords and fiery words. Their danger is apparent. Those who will be our undoing are the hypocrites and self-deceivers who pay lip service and manipulate the words of the Torah to accord with their convenience. I tell you this. Many will come, but few will be selected. Wow, guys, I'm not going to get too much beyond that one because this is the same stuff we hear in all of this. We've heard many are chosen, few are selected. This is these are words, right? These are solid words in stone that if we adhere to, then by their own words, we understand that we need the Torah. We need the Torah more than life itself. A life without the Torah is not meant to be lived. It's a life to darkness. It's a tunnel to darkness. It's a no way out. The words of the Torah to accord to their convenience, manipulating the words of the Torah to accord with their convenience. Guys, 41,000 different Christian religions will tell you that the Torah is dead, right? The words of deceivers and liars and people that are getting paid to lie to you will tell you that the Torah is dead. We have a new way forward. They will have potlucks with pork in them. They will have all these unclean foods. They completely worship on a day that is contrary to what our Creator wants us to worship, right? Every single religion is manipulating the words of the Torah because they make money off of it. Because this is their way forward. Guys, the Torah has never died. It will never die. It will be something that will live and breathe long after we are gone. These are the words of the Torah. These are the things that we have rejected as people, right? Men and women should build their own families. We know that's probably a good thing, but did we know it was sent down from the words of our Creator? Did we know that we should do things like master sin? We need to end the horrible, horrible adulterer making pornography sins that are in our lives. We need to turn off these computers. We need to get rid of whatever it is that is causing our souls to be offended. Once we look at this, there's no way we can ever unlook at this. There's no way once you do this deed of pornography that you are not an adulterer. You have made the person in these videos or pictures or whatever it is you're in your mind, you have made them an adulterer again, and everybody's going to have to account for this on Judgment Day. Every clean, moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Amazing things. Do not eat the blood. These are the laws we've rejected. Look how many times this particular law is reiterated in our Torah. And again, guys, this is the Google app. You can get this, install the APK, and you can have all these. You can have the listed laws of our Creator right here. Walk before me and be perfect. Guys, does this sound like the Christian religion that you can live in sin and you can do what you want and you just need to ask Jesus to be saved, to be your sins forgiven? Look at this one. Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. Guys, we're talking Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy is what this is talking about. Never once in scriptures does it ever say these blessed, amazing, superb things of our lives are ever gone. In fact, our Creator loves them so much that not only do we have this set, look at this page go on, my friend. Over 53 times in scriptures, we are told to observe them, love them, nurture them, bring them to the way of our Creator. Bring your family to the way of our Creator. Teach others, right? This is what the kingdom is about. It's about us out there producing fruit. Those who are coming into Torah, guys, there's always people coming into Torah all the time. There's always people out there. The hand of our Creator is working right now, heavily. People from all over just jump onto these things and they start binge watching this stuff, and all of a sudden people really, really want to talk about the law, statutes, and commandments. Guys, that's what we're talking about in the new covenant. Hebrews 8 talks about a time in this world where everybody knows the Torah. Everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. You're going to just strike up a conversation with Jim Bob down the road, and Jim Bob's going to be sitting there telling you, you know what? I really like that commandment about drinking blood. You know, I had them steaks like super, super rare. Prior to that, I didn't know that. And, you know, I wasn't feeling good. Same thing, right? People learn, people get with this. When you start learning the Torah, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a tremendous amount of sense that we're healthier, right? We are closer to our Creator. There's a path other than this Christian rhetoric that we've learned all our lives that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So guys, with that, before I get too long-winded, I'm going to say I love you all. Thank you very much for listening in. If you guys make it to the end of this, you guys are true warriors of Ramble. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. Much love to you all. I'm out.